A big hi to all you green geeks out there. So today I went around my house and gathered up all the philodendrons I own and set it up right around me. Now I feel that I'm sitting in the middle of a tropical forest. How great is that? What I like most is the color of the new leaves on some variants. They can be so striking in reds, pinks and oranges. Some have lovely colored undersides and some velvety textures. If you haven't experienced a philodendron yet, I would strongly suggest you must. Anyway, let's get started with this haul. Before we get into the video, I'd like to remind you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram for fresh updates and plant stories that I'm sure you would enjoy. I have tried my best to ID them correctly, but philodendrons can be tricky to ID as there are so many species, so many variants, so many cultivars, hybrids. Also, the juvenile leaves can look very different from the adult leaves. The younger plants will have juvenile leaves. As a plant grows and matures, you may notice the shape of the leaves may change and certain features also of the leaves may change. This is because of the transition from juvenile to adult leaves. This here is the Philodendron Mamei. I've been wanting this one for a long time and I'm so glad I got it. I bought it online. When I received this plant some time back, it came with 2 leaves and the 2 leaves were very damaged. As you can see, they still are. They were all crumpled and they were in a very sorry state. That's what happens when your plants come from very far off places. So this came from pretty far away and it was in a very bad state. But then eventually the plant has picked up. It has adjusted to my balcony and you can see that there's a new leaf. This leaf has been there for quite some time now and another new leaf is shooting up right here. What I really like about the Philodendron Mamei is the way the leaves are, the texture of the leaves, the way the veins are placed, also the variegation. It reminds me of a Scindapsus pictus or satin pothos, the variegation. It's got a silvery finish and also the stems have these ruffled edges, which again looks very cute. So this here is my Philodendron Mamei. This lovely plant here is the Philodendron Ceylon Gold. And what I really like about this one is the bright neon colored leaves. Also, the stems of this plant are slightly pinkish if you see. And especially towards the ends where it connects to the leaves, that is where it is a little pinkish, which makes it look even more pretty. Now I have 3 of these plants, out of which this one I got as a gift from my very close friend. And I'm really grateful, I'm really happy to have it. It adds a lot of foliage in your balcony. So that's why I have 3 of them and it fills up empty spots. It makes your balcony look bright and vibrant. If you like brightly colored leaves, this is a plant you must go for. This one right here is the Philodendron Subhastatum. And as you can see, it's a very cute little plant. And what's most striking about this one is the red undersides. The leaves have absolutely glossy red undersides, which makes it look really very nice. From the top, as you can see, this is how it looks. It's green, glossy, cute, but the undersides are something that is very striking. Now the one that I have here is very small. It will hopefully grow to be bigger. There is a new leaf, so there's new growth. Another tiny leaf here. But the underside, if you notice, is not very red. As the leaf grows a little more, the undersides become darker. So this is the Philodendron Subhastatum. This one right here is the Philodendron Hastatum. I had bought it along with the Subhastatum and both are doing okay. When they came, they were not in very great condition, but now they have picked up. There is a new leaf here, but I just lost 2 leaves. They just yellowed and fell down a week ago. Maybe I didn't water them properly or something like that. But you can see that this new leaf is so glossy and so shiny and waxy that it reflects light so beautifully. Now there is a slight confusion about the idea of this plant. I bought it as a hastatum, but there are debates that a hastatum has slightly broader leaves and this one has narrow leaves. So it may be a different unknown species. So I really am not very sure about the ID, but since I bought it as a Hastatum, I will continue to call it a Hastatum till I know better. This here is the Hederaceum neon or lemon lime. That is because of the color of the leaves. It's a neon green, lemon limey green, bright and vibrant colored plant. This is extremely good for hanging baskets. As you can see, that you can barely see the basket that it is in because it's grown so beautifully. Also, it climbs up extremely well on moss sticks. The best thing about this is the way the foliage is so bushy and so full. It gives a very vibrant and full look to your garden. Certain features of these leaves are that they're very velvety smooth, the texture is excellent, and the way the veins are is very soft and beautiful. Plus the shape of the leaf is like a heart, and that gives a very cute look to this plant. This neon Hederaceum looks very similar to the Epipremnum aureum neon, and I think last week done a video, an IGTV video on Instagram. If you haven't seen that, you can go and check that out to see the visual differences between the two plants. This plant here is another Philodendron Hederaceum, which is more commonly known as the Micans or the Scandids. And what I really like about this plant is the velvety texture that the leaves have. If you look closely at the leaves or if you touch it and feel it, it's got a very velvety feel, and that is very unique to this plant. Also, the undersides of the leaves are reddish, which again give it that gorgeous look. Now, this plant has been with me for a very long time. I have got many cuttings from it, but the plant is not growing as I would want it to. The leaves are pretty small and they're not, it's not thriving, it's not growing to its full potential, probably because I have changed its spot many times. I'm still trying to find a perfect spot for it in my balcony. But this plant is not as hardy as the other Hederaceums that I have. This is a little more delicate and needs a little more attention and care. This here is the Philodendron Brasil, also another Hederaceum. And you can see that the leaves are again heart-shaped, and what I love most about this is the neon green variegation on dark green leaves. It makes it look so good. This is a very easy to care for plant, and I put a smaller plant into this hanging basket and it's grown incredibly in a very short period of time. And considering that in my balcony I don't get too much sunlight, it's a northeast facing balcony, so the sunlight is very limited, but these plants are somehow doing well. The leaves of this plant grows to be very big, especially when you send it up a moss stick rather than putting it in hanging baskets like this. This is the Philodendron Congo Rojo. This fellow had featured in one of my past haul videos when I had picked him up from my local nursery, and I had done a haul. This was a few months back. I don't know if any of you remember, but this plant was in a very bad state when I bought it. I'll probably put a clip of the video on screen so that you can see how it has grown since then. The leaves that you see back here, the damaged ones, that's how it was. And I felt pity for the plant. I picked it up and it has rewarded me greatly. And the way the leaves are stiff and glossy, and the redness of the stalk, especially the undersides, when a new leaf emerges, the undersides being so red, makes this plant look really beautiful in my balcony. This plant here is the Philodendron Birkin. If you have been watching my videos, you would know that I bought it from Vriksha Nursery recently. And I'm really happy with this one because it's been growing very well. It's given a lot of new leaves. There's one more new leaf on the way right here. You can see it's unfurling. And as the plant matures, the leaves will have more and more of these white serrations. These serrations actually have a very great texture. It's not just white lines on the leaf. It's like somebody has carved these lines onto the leaf. I have heard that the Birkin is a hybrid of the Congo Rojo that I just showed you some time back. It so happens sometimes that such plants that are made in laboratories do revert back, and they lose their variegation sometimes, and they have these plain leaves. So I hope that doesn't happen to my Birkin, and it remains like this always. It's a very easy to care for plant. It doesn't fuss much. I water when the top layer of the soil dries out. This is one of my favorite philodendrons, especially because of the shape of the leaf. It is the Philodendron Pedatum, and I'm totally in love with this plant because of the way the leaf is shaped. You can just see how unique it is and how good it looks. So this, I believe, is the juvenile leaf, and the leaves become even more exaggerated, you can say, when they are adult leaves. So this one that I had was not so big when I had got him. I've had him for quite some time now. You can see that the bottom is all a little bit scanty and the top is full, probably because it's getting more light around here. There's a new leaf growing right here. This here is the Philodendron Birkin, and it is another very good looking philodendron, but it's the more commonly found one. I've seen it many places, and this I didn't have for a very long time. My friend who shifted to Kerala gave it to me when she was clearing out all her plants, which I'm extremely grateful for, because this is such a vibrant, such a bushy plant, and it happily is throwing out new growth. Now in her house it was receiving full sun and it was thriving there. Here it is receiving maybe 10% of the sun that it was getting over there, but still it adjusted quite well and it's doing okay. Maybe not as vibrant and as full as how it was in her house. I love the way the leaf is shaped and it's so waxy and shiny. That's what I like about this plant, and I like how full it is. I recently put a moss stick and I'm trying to give direction to this plant so that it climbs up rather than looking like a complete mess. So I'm going to give it some time and see how it grows. Now I've tried my best to ID this one and I found it so difficult because I didn't come across any name for this fellow. He's more of a new acquisition for me, but I think he's a NOID philodendron as far as I know. As far as I've tried to research and find his name, I've spoken to a lot of people who are aeroid experts, and they also have not been able to ID it for me. It's a very unique and very good looking philodendron, especially with the leaves, how big and beautifully shaped they are. They add a lot of personality to my space and it looks really, really good. Now some of the leaves, the older leaves, if you see, are already damaged. But I'm fine with that because I got it at a very good rate. And you can see that the new leaves are very healthy and look how glossy they are. This here is the Philodendron Bipennifolium. It was sold to me as the Ceylon atom, but this is the Bipennifolium, and it is growing extremely slowly since the time I got it. This is the first time in months that it is showing any sign of growth. This is the first new leaf that it's getting. And that is probably because I've kept it in a place where it's not getting much sunlight. I probably have to shift it into a sunnier spot so that it grows faster. But the good news is that there's a new leaf emerging and I'm happy about it. This is another very uniquely shaped leaf which I like, and it adds a variation to my philodendron collections. So I'm really happy with this plant as well. I also have two other philodendrons. One is the Philodendron Autumn and the other one Philodendron Moonshine. I don't have a picture of the moonshine, but I have of the autumn, which I will put on screen. Now these two plants are in a very sorry state. That's why I'm not showing them to you. They're just gone down to one single stalk, and I don't know if they'll live or they'll survive or not. There has been a decline in their growth and I'm really sad about it, but I thought it's worth mentioning because the autumn especially was so beautiful. I had posted a picture on Instagram and it really, really looked so good. I've kept it with all my plants that have gone dormant during the winter, and I'm hoping that they kick back. I'm hoping that they come back and that they will not die completely. But I thought it was worth mentioning these two philodendrons that I owned. Now there are two more plants that I want to show you which have been recently reclassified as Thaumatophyllum. They were in the Philodendron family. Now they have been shifted in the year 2018 and they are part of the Thaumatophyllum genus. I'm talking about the Xanadu and I'm talking about the tree Philodendron. I thought I will include them in this Philodendron video because they're not very far from the Philodendron family. For many years they were part of this family. Now they are not, but I'm going to include them in this video. This here is my Thaumatophyllum Xanadu and it is one of my favorite plants. I've had it for quite some time now, but I had kept it in a corner of my balcony and it was slightly inaccessible to me, so I was just letting it grow and I used to water it and all that. But when I got it out for this video, I realized that there is some pest attack on it. There are some yellow spots and the leaves in the bottom, there are quite a few leaves that are yellowing. So I'm going to keep it out for some time, go through it and try to treat the pests, get rid of the pests and then only put it back where it was growing. Now, I love this plant for the shape of the leaves. The leaves are so interestingly shaped and the way they grow is so bushy and full, which really makes me happy. Now, the way this plant grows is quite unique. I'll turn it and show you. This is how it grows. As it grows bigger, it grows a sort of a trunk-like structure that has these eye-like shapes on it. And as it grows higher, this grows bigger. This here is the Thaumatophyllum Bipinnatifidum. And it was known as the tree philodendron or the Philodendron Bipinnatifidum for a very long time. That is, in 2018, it was reclassified as the Thaumatophyllum. And I have two of these plants. The first one that I had got was bigger and it's outside in my bedroom dry area. I find it very difficult to pick it up and bring it here. It's quite a big plant. So I've left that there. This is the smaller one and I really like the way this looks, but this grows to be really huge. So if you want to keep this one, you need to keep a space assigned for it. You need to have enough space for it so that it spreads out and it grows very well in full sun also. So this is a good plant to have. I really love the leaves, how they are, the veins on the leaves and the shape of the leaf. It's almost very frilly and it's huge. When it grows big, it's quite big. I had a mind to include the monsteras I have, but the video would have gone too long, so I'll keep that for another day, for another haul, a monstera haul somewhere down the line. I hope you like this video. Do let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Do not forget to share and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Also follow us on Instagram for future updates. I hope to see you soon. Till then, stay green.